Where do I start? They say life imitates art. I'm trying to paint a picture. Paint a picture that's licking you scripture. I ain't just another nigga. Another nigga with a dream. It seems we finally made him all believe. A dream to be the reason we come to achieve. The life that we would all kill for, even die for. I score, so sick, so sick. Sick and tired of these little kids talking grown shit.
But you're the athletic guy on the rec club team.
But that's why guys yell at me all the time when I play with elite university types, because they're like, "You're not standing in the right place." I'm like, "Yeah, but I can still dunk on you, bitch."
You dumb bitch.
Say your little ass in the paint. See what comes through. Put you on a poster.
Yeah, I don't know where I stand in the right place, but I'll put the ball through your legs and I'll embarrass you in front of all your friends.
Yeah, because you're the street ball guy.
I'm a street ball guy. Yeah. So that's what I do. Break ankles and stuff and jump high.
We have to make sure that we edit things more finely now, because we be saying some reckless shit on here.
Yeah, that we should. Yeah,
saying people's names and stuff.
Yeah.
We should start getting cute with the bleeps and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, we should do that.
Yeah,
just
that would be cool.
Not give any fucks.
Just bleep.
If we do. If Mr. Duane had more time on his hands to be able to do more like design stuff.
Right.
Some of my favorite podcasts, the ones that you watch on YouTube, and they have like more video, visual things, more visual stuff, like cut in and amongst the episodes. So
right.
Yeah. I feel like you get way more views that way.
Yes.
But that's a lot of effing work. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're talking about building, damn it.
I know.
Because for those of you who do not know, this is our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. Yes. You know what?
Wow.
Speaking of... Yeah. No, I'm not going to name that moment. Sorry. 1 year, yes.
You have to.
I wasn't going to be negative. I was just going to say, speaking of what Lauren said, you know, we're trying to build and make it on another level. If we know some young graphic designers who are looking to get some portfolio pieces, come hit me up and I can, you know, vouch for you or whatever, get you set up and help you out and show you how to do some shit, and you do some graphics for us.
Yeah.
For the podcast.
Well, that's why Pyre's here. Yeah. Pyre said, I want to be of support. I want to help. I fuck with what y'all is doing.
Yeah.
Now Pyre is our production manager and our technical assistant.
She's so awesome.
That's what I'm saying, yo.
Cheers.
She's amazing. Cheers.
Boss lady.
Thank you.
Cheers to Pyre. This is Changing Narrative Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Terrence Taylor. I'm here with the beautiful and lovely Lauren Sears, Mr. Art Pays Me, Duane Jones, and the originator, Peter Hemsworth. Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Hi, Terrence.
What up?
What's up? Brielle's here. Mr. Fraser.
You.
Mr. Fraser in the building, taking pictures.
He didn't say much, but he had a big hot take. Meek's trash, apparently.
Tag E Fraser photos. Fraser.
Go get him.
Fraser.
You're gonna send the Dream
photos.
Chaser.
Dream Chaser is cool for you. Yeah, don't say that ever again. Don't ever say Meek is trash ever again. Parvati is here.
You said my name right.
Of course I said your name right.
Never got it right before.
I have.
No.
Parvati.
It was my example, I think.
Wait.
Oh, that's what you were doing. Oh, I see what you motherfuckers are up to. I love you, Pyre. Much love. Kyler's upstairs cooking or some shit.
I don't even know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, he's into
He
something.
had housework to do.
He's cleaning. He's working.
You don't believe
he's
it?
Probably in the garage. Well, no, he probably is. Probably in the garage.
Doing some shit. Hi, Kyler. We love you.
Welcome to our basement.
Yeah, we're here.
I'm really happy it's being put to use. So essentially what had happened was,
Okay.
look at this wonderful floor.
Mm-hmm.
I found this floor like 8 months before we put it in.
Okay.
Before I went to go buy it. And when I went to go buy it, it was on sale and in stock in this color that I wanted. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I got a great deal.
Yeah.
We're just going to replace the floor. There's like this cheap linoleum, whatever, shitty floor.
Yeah.
So we pulled it up. And then in that room over there was like one corner of the subfloor that was kind of soft.
Uh-oh.
And so we pulled it up.
Yeah.
And then all of the subfloor came up. And then all of it had to get put down again. And there's a little bit of a bump in the floor that we hoped we could fix when we replaced the subfloor, which we could not. So my good deal on a floor became a lot more expensive than replacing just the floor.
All stuff.
So welcome to being a home.
Yeah.
And it's been surprises ever since. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Duane knows all about that.
I know.
Yeah, except for new build.
That. Yeah, but I also owned a home before that too.
Oh, so you already know the pain.
I know.
Which is probably why you went with the new build.
This is exactly why I went with
Precisely.
the new build. I wanted exactly what I wanted. And...
Is it exactly what you wanted?
More or less, yeah. Very close. There's always more. I want a gym. Like, I want my own gym in my house. And that's what thing we weren't able to do.
You can come hang out at ours.
For CGS?
No,
Oh, you guys have a gym? Oh, you made your garage.
You guys will
a
have
gym.
to go see in the...
Yeah, you
have to go look at the garage.
Yeah, give me a tour.
Yeah. But see, that's what I'm basically
There will be no
do.
tour upstairs today.
Understood. I respect that.
Yep. Yep.
So now we're recording in Lauren's basement.
Yeah. But
Like we
you know
record
what's...
every fucking where in the
But you
damn
want to
city.
know... But you know what's great about that?
Yes, what is it?
Is if everyone could see all of the cords and things, and then sometimes poor Terrence has had to set up and tear down. And then Par was helping, and now my sad ass is trying to help, and the only thing I can do is wrap or unravel cords.
Yeah, I don't
You
know
do
what the
it.
fuck
That's
we're
it.
doing either.
You do a great
You
job.
know, like if I can just do the little things, I'll try and chip in a little bit. So yeah,
It's
now we don't have to
beautiful.
move it around all the time.
Save us so much more time.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
So we're here now. We're here in Lauren's basement. It's our 1 year anniversary of the Changing the Narrative podcast. Should I read our introduction, or should we fuck that? How would you define the Change the Narrative podcast, Lauren? If you were to give it an intro.
To give an intro,
Yeah.
I would say that on the Changing the Narrative podcast, we explore arts, culture, entrepreneurship, and from various perspectives of young voices in Halifax.
Yeah.
Speaking to more global issues,
Right.
but proud to say that we're doing it here in Atlantic Canada.
Duane.
So I would echo what Lauren said.
Yeah.
I do think originally, and at least my view with changing the narrative was that we were going to, which I still think we are doing and have done, but like sort of change the way certain conversations are had and the certain viewpoints are
Definitely.
out there of certain like groups of people, you know, whether that be white males, white women, black male, like just Southeast Asian people, like changing like stereotype, changing what we think of these groups and how these conversations are had. And I could see why some people might say, well, you guys aren't necessarily talking about things that I think your promise of the show has said it would talk about. But my thing is, we don't necessarily always have to agree with each other. We don't always have to agree with the correct way to do things in society.
Right.
But I think the fact that we are having these conversations that make people uncomfortable is the point.
So when you said the things we may have promised from the beginning that maybe not necessarily are doing now, like what would you say those are?
Well, when you make a bold statement like changing the narrative, I don't know, in my opinion, we're changing the narrative, but I could see how some people might not think we are. I could see that. So that's
I think we are, but there's room for improvement. That's what I think.
Exactly.
You know, have we been super intentional about this is what we're doing this year? No, we're feeling it out and we're trying to find our voice in all of this and kind of the way we'd like to get it organized. So really, if you wanted to talk entrepreneurship lingo, this year has been our MVP.
Yeah.
What's been our minimum viable product?
Yeah.
People are listening.
Right.
And enjoying it.
Right.
Great. We've tested a product. It's got some legs.
Right.
And now, if we are, cognizant about it, we can make it tweak it, make it better, make it more influential.
Yeah.
I think there are probably some groups that we didn't really bring on the show this year that I would love to, with purpose, include in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I'm always so cautious and careful about like how I approach when I particularly speak about women. Like I'm always concerned that my male privilege is going to kick in and I'm going to say something that makes me not empathetic to women and not conscious of things. And there are times when I'm listening back, I'm like, I don't know if I've started to get scared to listen back. That's another thing. Yeah. I've gotten to the point where I'm starting to get scared because I'm like, I don't want to overjudge myself. I used to listen to all of them religiously. Now I'm like scared to listen back because I'm like, I think I might have said something wild this episode and I don't want to like feel like I have to apologize to people. But again, I think the importance is that we're at least trying to have the conversation and say, this is our standpoint. Like Mike was brave like last week to say what he said. Shit. Like, damn. Yeah. You know, and I was concerned, is Black Twitter gonna assassinate me for not going in on Mike for what he said? But I don't feel like that is productive. I feel like I respect what Mike said, and I know a lot of people will empathize with that viewpoint.
Right.
So,
and I think it was interesting too because we created a space where somebody who wouldn't typically say these things around people of color was like, I'm going to say these things around people of color and to the fucking internet and whoever could possibly be listening. But we've created that environment that's a thing that can happen. But I do get what you're saying, like listening to some of the things back and being like, oh shit, like should I have said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we've all had this conversation. We all know certain things, and certain things I do think we can be more cognizant about in future or whatever. Yeah. Bleep it or whatever we want, right? But at the same time, there's a certain honesty that we try to have when we have these conversations. And I think it's interesting to be able to go back and listen and maybe change your own perspective on an opinion that you had. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of the whole point of the show, is not just for the listeners, but for ourselves too. Yeah. Like something you talked about in week 30, you might have changed your opinion on it by week 52 because of someone else that we had a conversation with. Right. And I think
is that what you want?
That's what you want, is growing as a person. And instead of, I'm so stuck to my opinions and I'm never going to try and learn and admit that
change.
I shifted my perspective. I learned something. You know what? The way I used to look at something wasn't correct. Yeah. And that's great. Instead of us being like, you just can't because fuck you. Yeah. Yeah. So I think, I get how uncomfortable that is, but I think it's putting ourselves out there to do that is, if someone wants to shit all over us, then then fine. Mm-hmm. Shit.
Wipe your ass.
We can choose how we react to those things. Yes. That's all I'm saying. Yeah,
No, for sure. Peter. Yeah. Peter Hemsworth, baby.
Welcome back.
Of course. We love Peter. And because you were part of the beginning of the creation of this show, it's important to speak to you about how you saw it from the beginning, how it grew, and then how as somebody who wasn't part of it on a weekly basis in the same ways, but was part of it as a listener exclusively. So how would you introduce the Changing the Narrative podcast?
Well, I think the progression of it specifically was when you started to get more and more people on with more and more perspectives. I think that was something that really changed up the intention of the show in a lot of ways. Like we had guests all throughout, but when you guys started to tell different stories.
You can say we. You just tell us. You just part of the stories.
I'm trying to propose it as from a listener's perspective. Right. So like take Alfred for example. When you had that series, that's presenting a young person's viewpoint in the city that CBC's hasn't done a story on him. You know what I mean? But it's something that's really important that you guys bring to light. So changing the narrative, the name still makes sense. You're still bringing a platform for people to speak on things. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think the progression and all this extra production, everything's so good. It's cool.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy to think back. when we thought about this thing and how it became a thing. And I still am like, how the fuck did this come together? I feel like it was like a couple of conversations and then we just met at Peter's house and it just fucking started.
It was quick. That's exactly what it was.
Which I think is beautiful because we had that like, fuck all this talking shit about what we're gonna do.
Let's do it.
Let's just fucking do it. And we got 3 episodes in the tuck, in the secret stash that I hope no one ever has to listen to. But we did it and we said, all right, do you remember we had the tripods with the Zoom recorders on them?
Yeah.
And you had the Beasley mic. And yes. I think we had another Zoom recorder and we just were like...
It's like whatever we had, we just like put it on a table and then
we just...
hopefully make it work.
And I think that's... I think there's... What, Lord?
Sorry, no, I just had a random thought.
Do you want to share it now?
No, it's just about how we can make some money with this new impromptu studio. It's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, let's save that for after. I think it's cool to see how... there is this narrative that you have to have all the stuff, or you have to have all the money, or you have to have a plan, or you have to, have. It's like, I think MVP. You have to spend the time doing it wrong to figure out even how to do it right. Yeah. And I think that's a beauty. And Peter, we had even talked about early on, like, do we have guests? Do we not have guests? Yeah. Do we figure out the structure of the 3 of us before bringing other people on? And Lauren and we had this conversation last night even, and like, how do we figure out what the show looks like when we're, someone's building a house, someone's away in Vancouver. There's all these life things that are happening that makes it challenging to do what it is you ideally are like, yeah, we'll just meet every week and we'll just do it and it'll be done. But like, that's not what the fuck happened. Yeah. Like, not even close. So I think having guests and being able to have these types of stories with people that we may not have been able to do otherwise if we would have been rigid in our ways of thinking and weren't willing to change our narrative around how we wanted the show to be presented. So I think that's cool just on the guest concept of it, right?
Yeah, so what is it from you, like original? What do you think?
I think for me it was about like the voice, like creating a platform for people who typically don't have voices to share them and to share them intentionally. And that's the growth of this, sharing our messages intentionally with people who we know need to hear them or we know would benefit from being a fly on the wall on a conversation like the ones that we have. And so I like it. I like what we're doing here, damn it.
I like that. I like that big chair and like you just hanging out and
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you, Lord. Duane Jones.
It's a good movie intro.
Duane Jones of Art Pays Me.
You should be that guy.
Next on Stitch. Duane's gonna make a ball gown overnight. Can he do it? Will it be a sequin dress?
Yeah, I didn't tell you guys. Well, I was telling Lauren.
Yeah.
So a reality show contacted me on Friday. No. Like a Project Runway type reality show.
You're living my reactions. Keep going.
And I was like, oh, that would be dope. But then I asked the question of, so I got to sew because I don't really sew that well. And he's like, oh, yeah. We might have a type of thing where you got to make a cocktail dress by tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what my brand does.
Why would you try it? Why not try it though?
You couldn't make cocktail dresses on the whip?
Do you think the exposure for Art Pays Me alone, even if you got kicked out the first round, wouldn't be worth it?
It would be worth it. You know what? It would be. It would be.
You could go on a troll.
Just saying.
Yeah, I know. I could go on and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna bust all your ass, and then come out and just like make the trashiest thing.
And we just meme you.
Yeah, but maybe you kill it. You don't know.
What's the Asian dude from American Idol? that popped
Oh
up.
yeah, that's true.
Because he just
Hung?
got
At Hung?
William Hung.
Hung.
William Hung. They just
Yeah,
memed him.
I could be
he was
that.
hilarious.
I could be the William Hung of fashion.
Listen,
No,
Oh my
that's
God.
not exact. That's not what I want at all.
No.
Not ideal.
No. Yeah, no.
oh shit. Okay,
But yeah.
so no reality TV
Yeah,
life.
so it wasn't gonna work for me. It's not my skill set, but I appreciated them calling anyway.
Nice.
So
Well, you're gonna work on your seamstressisms.
yeah, I would in theory. It's one of those things I want to be able to do, but it's another thing of when you don't have a lot of time, you think about what your brand does and specializes in, and you're like, it's not really the direction of my brand at this point.
Right.
So I can't focus on that. I got to focus on other things.
I learned part of that in my business training last week.
Go.
That's what you would call a logical extension.
Yeah.
So, yeah, awesome. Duane is an amazing graphic artist. Puts that shit on clothes. Oh, but people have asked me to sew. I could sew my own clothes, but is that his core asset?
Right.
Is that the thing that he does?
The best use of his time.
Because if he could be, but that's a whole other path, and then you're making clothes for a line or for other people or for whatever the reason, and then you're not really doing the graphic design. So,
Well, and that was I grew up watching Project Runway. I used to love that show because it was the first time I saw fashion and design on TV, and we usually see that. And I used to have this idea that fashion designers, based on watching that show, are making everything by hand that you see in the stores, and they can all draft and do all and pattern make and cut. And I even thought that they were designing the prints, and then I realized no, they're buying the prints, and someone else is designing prints that they're just sourcing.
Yeah.
They have a pattern maker. There's so many different pieces to it. There's not this one genius in a room making everything that you see in the stores.
Kanye had you fooled, huh?
No, not even Kanye. This is pre-Kanye. So it's like, then I realized, it's a real business where the fashion designer, in quotes, is the visionary. They come up with the idea, and then they have a team of people or factories even, as the bigger brands, that produce everything.
Right.
So then it changed my whole perspective on how this fashion design business is, because it's a business.
Absolutely.
Works. And one person making everything for the world when it's getting distributed in Paris, New York, everywhere, it's not possible. It's just not sustainable for one person to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So
It's the same as a director in a movie. Like you're the director and you have all these people to put the pieces together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You're the director. You have all these different people on your set, and it comes together in one beautiful movie. And you take a lot of credit for it.
And your name goes across the
to the face.
Yeah. So So when people ask me about do I sew and make everything, like I feel a little bad sometimes that I don't, but then I think about that bigger picture. I'm like, that's not the move.
Peter, how's your business development life going in terms of kind of in stepping back to focus on your business? Like, how is the time away transferred into Beasley growing as a brand and a business?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of the stuff I've been working on isn't stuff that I can show on social media. So it's really like stuff for 2019 and things like that further down the road. And it's a lot of behind the scenes, more business stuff that I'm working on. Because I actually had this conversation with Duane a couple of weeks ago. It was about really trying to focus on the business side of things and pushing towards that. And I know we've had the conversation about that many times on here before. Yeah. And it's really just about figuring out as a small brand, especially in Atlantic, Canada, how we can kind of push that, especially across Canada and all that. So I've just been doing a lot of work with figuring out what trade shows to go to, where are the buyers that have the stores that you can get into. I've gotten like obsessed with Facebook ads and that, trying to figure out how to do one right. I don't know if do you guys do any Facebook ads for this?
I've tried it once, but very early on, even I think back when you were still doing it, I did it, and it just, I didn't
do it right.
Fuck 'em,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's like you know it works, but you've got to do it right. Otherwise, you're wasting your time and wasting your money.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I've been going through. It's like, I'm not going to spend money when I have no idea what I'm doing on these ads, because it's all spending money to get no interaction and nothing. So I've literally just been watching YouTube stuff and reading really boring documents on Facebook retargeting, and it's just
Do
like,
you know who your target audience is? Like, who buys Beasley clothing?
so it's weird, the setup, because a portion is like 15 to 25 males, and then the other portion is like 18 to 32 female.
That makes sense, though.
Because of the Alexa Pope. Shout out to Alexa Pope.
Yeah.
The connection with them is mostly female sales, and then online is mostly male. So it's kind of a weird balance.
So in store is women and online is men?
Yeah, for the most part, just because I'm in a women's store in Halifax.
Yeah.
So mostly.
So my first thought would be, in Facebook ads, you can target like that exact age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Online, do you know what their interests are? If you know what their interests are, you can target those things directly. Like, Facebook will let you get like pretty granular with exactly who and how many people you want to target that way.
The one thing I did learn that was really interesting, which I'm sure if there's like a person who runs Facebook ads all the time on here, they would know, but it's like targeting and retargeting. So you shoot a wider net, trying to find your audience or people who are moderately interested.
Right.
And then you target on your next ad only the people that clicked on your first ad to convert.
Got you.
So things like that, just business technical things.
Yeah, because initially this is part of our conversation was Peter just wanted to fucking hang out in the crib, create shit.
And that's my favorite still.
Right. As it should be.
Yeah.
But we always talk about, how does this thing move forward? How do you scale? How do you grow if you're only one person?
Yeah.
And you want to create, but also understand that there's that business side where you got to go up there and shake those hands and understand. Like, we weren't talking about trade shows.
No,
you know what I mean?
No,
like,
it's just the development, even into this, when you guys were talking about doing the advertising or looking for advertisers for this, it's just the progression of your art into monetizing it and making it your life, basically.
Right.
So I'm kind of, just going through that process. I mean, I Beasley just turned 2, like in November, like early November. So I think of that as super, super young for a business, especially for a brand, because it takes so much time for someone to believe in your quality. They have to see your logo all around. There's so much things involved in getting an established brand. So, I mean, just pushing forward.
I love this thick ass hoodie.
Yeah,
Part even said that when she handed it. She's like, "Damn, that's a nice heavy hoodie."
That's another thing that I was like really focused on for especially spring, summer. My stuff coming up is the quality of the stuff. Like I finally found a really good set of suppliers that are relatively stable and that, which
good for you.
In the Canadian fashion industry is difficult to do a lot of times. So
Good.
Yeah, the US, you guys have it a little better. I don't know what. I'm assuming Asia's probably lit, but
I'm sure there's another bag with that.
Lauren, you know anything about that?
Yeah.
Wow. Cousins down here?
No, I'm just kidding. You never know, probably.
Oh shit.
Do you want to do shout outs or want to move into something else?
Well, I've kind of.
Oh, you didn't do your update.
Well, neither did Lauren.
Oh, yeah.
What's happened in P4G over the course of the time, and like where's the growth and what things are happening?
Well, at the start of the summer, we had a few contracts on the go, all of which went really well. And then we intentionally kind of slowed down because Thompson was going to become a dad again. And we were kind of like, okay, if we get a couple contracts on the table and, baby number 3 comes and we're in trouble. Because, Bradley and I... So, the update is we're all still working our full-time jobs.
Yeah.
I'll never leave CGS anyways, but, the boys are still working their day jobs, unfortunately. But we have a couple of really interesting proposals that are going to be going in around some, like, larger scale rural recruitment and, like, rural economic development.
Okay.
Specifically, kind of out of the city. So If we land a couple of those projects, that would mean some pretty quick transitioning, I think. But, we're stashing some cash and just trying to get reorganized and put more of a strategic plan together. So that'll be some planning over the next little bit. But it's going. We presented at the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities Conference.
Oh, nice.
I was sick that day, but the boys killed it. And I think we've done a couple of other presentations, like semi-large presentations. I was on a panel around recruitment in Vancouver when I was away a couple weeks ago, and that went really well. So yeah, it's more exposure, and right now we were just filmed for a Changemakers video series for the province.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so that will be coming out probably in the new year.
Good.
So that'll be hopefully some good traction as well.
Good.
So things are exciting, but it's slow to build, right? Like it's getting traction and building momentum is really hard. Yeah. It just is.
It takes so much more time than we think.
Yeah.
And so this is why when people are like, oh, like entrepreneurship has become like a pretty cool thing. Oh yeah, like I'm an entrepreneur. And
okay. Do that shit every day.
It's super hard. And people think it's not cute. Like it's really stressful.
No,
like there have definitely been some ups and downs this year. Like trying to grow businesses, like it's really stressful. Yeah. And some days you're winning, and other days you're like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah. And that's just the way it is.
It's a good way though. Otherwise,
listen, I love it, but what I'm saying is like it's not for the faint of heart.
Right.
No.
Yeah, we don't know how we're gonna eat today.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Feeling is it's exciting, but it's fucking terrifying. All mixed in one. But I find like I need that shit. So if we're talking about in terms of what's happening on my end, I've been with CGS since May. So halfway through the year. And just trying to balance everything. Giving 30 hours a week to an organization is now 30 hours less than I have in my freedom. And you don't realize how much shit you do in 30 hours until those 30 hours are gone. And you're like, how the fuck am I going to do all this shit because I don't have the time? So in terms of the growth of TTM and what's happening on that end, it's like I haven't even posted on Instagram on the TTM page since like June. Like I don't fucking care. It's not about what is happening on the internet. It's not even about promoting it. Like the promotion of TTM is through this podcast. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like if I take my time and energy and I intentionally focus it on doing one thing, make the podcast great, cool, done. The contracts that I've been getting have 95% been word of mouth. Not that I can continue to rely on word of mouth, but as of now, I'm like, okay, this word of mouth shit is working. So I have this other stream of contracts and video work, so that's great. And then there's CGS, but then you're like, shit, and I have a personal life and like home and family and all of this other shit. So in terms of growth, it's more of I have a plan now, and I'm not trying to figure out so much what it is I'm doing, because now I knew what it was, and now I'm settling into doing it. So now it's like we got to really produce this thing every week at a high level, and it's kind of figuring out a routine and getting into a flow. But in the we can't live off word of mouth forever. So there's another piece of trying to produce this podcast so that we can monetize it. But then there's also, I need to be out, and who needs videos? How am I selling videos? And being in Scotland and interviewing 25 plus social entrepreneurs and being able to create free content for them that they'll be able to use, then gives you that double back of, so remember a year ago when we shot this thing for you, and all these people are in Scotland. So telling me I shouldn't be able to create a revenue stream of video content work in Scotland. If I don't, what the fuck are we here for? You know what I mean? But
you're being smart about it, because you're putting a strategy together before you just try to grow and waste money.
Right.
That's the thing. That's the other thing I learned by training this week, or at least someone put it together in a way that made sense to me. It's like you're either growing You're either filling the cup or you're growing the cup. You can't fill the cup and grow the cup at the same time. Mm-hmm. You can't grow your business and say, like, try to build more revenue in your business at the same time, because you just bleed money out the door.
What's filling versus, so growing, I understand that's growing the cup is growing your business. What's filling the cup?
Trying to build that revenue to a certain threshold within your business so you can grow again.
Oh, okay. Got you. So I look at it from my perspective as satisfying your customers versus trying to satisfying existing customers versus trying to acquire new customers.
Right. You're trying to exhaust what you have before you start to go focus on something else.
Right. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. I can, from a lot of the podcasts I've listened to, a lot of them recommend focusing on your existing people and improving that and building that as much as possible.
Yeah, you're trying to maximize capacity.
Yeah, rather than chasing ghosts essentially that may or may not work with you, and then you're pissing off your existing people who already love you.
I did that this summer.
Yeah, and I do that a lot, I think. And I've been really focusing now on, okay, someone ordered something. I need to make that the number one priority. Get it to them first, and then worry about that Instagram ad or whatever it is that I want to put out.
Because you already have a customer, right?
I have a customer. Yeah. They're just waiting to give me money, and I'm like saying, oh, I got them. They can wait a little bit while I do this and do that and do this. And they're like, no, fuck that. Like, get them their shit ASAP. Yeah. And then worry about acquiring new customers. And it's hard when you're one person and pulled in multiple directions. Right. But I'm trying to really work on slowing that down and, cherishing those existing relationships.
Yeah, and it's funny when you think, everyone says you need to have a good product, right? Yeah. But to me, when I'm thinking what my product is, it's like, it's the presentation of everything. It's how fast it gets to a person. Like the product is all of that mixed in one, the packaging, how it looks, how can they take photos of it and put it on their social media. All that's the product, not just the clothes. So yeah, that's definitely important.
It's the full customer experience from entry point to final sale and post sale. What do you do to them? Do you send them, like a thank you email? Is there some sort of engagement? Yeah. What can they always expect to get from you when they buy from Art Pays Me or they buy from Beasley?
And it's almost more important, like you said, to set up the system of how you're going to distribute your product versus even creating your product. Because you could make something that's great, but if you can't get it to people, then or they can't find it, then who fucking cares? But like you said, Lauren, like for me, I feel like the planning and like the sitting back and like, how am I going to do the things I'm getting ready to do is so much more important than like, all right, we got it. Let's just do it. And sometimes you need to do that. You need to just dive in head first. But like once you're in the water and you get out, it's like, I don't have to jump back into this pool without being prepared for what it is that I'm doing now that I've already like splashed around and almost drowned and now I made it out. It's like, all right, shit, I'm not doing that again. So what did I learn from jumping in the pool the first time with a plan that I can make sure that when I get back in the next time, I'm ready to go?
Yeah, it's funny. Like you saying that is something, if anyone's looking to start a business, that's going to be the thing to take away, because you're going to be like just trying to do a lot of stuff instead of just pull back and plan and do that. And you're not going to want to do that because you want to have a business. You want to tell everybody that you're a business owner.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah. But that is really good advice to be like, no, take some time in the background and do all the tedious, annoying work. Yeah. And then when you roll out, you have a plan, and then, everything goes smoother.
You have to have vision in it. You can't just, if you only have short-term perspective, you're not thinking strategically about how to grow. Right. You have to spend time working on your business and not just in your business.
So cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's pretty catchy for a reason,
you know? You said it. You said it. Duane.
Yeah.
Is it time to recap the year?
Oh my God, take us back to the beginning.
First I didn't do the shout outs.
Shout outs, yo.
So 3 quick shout outs.
First, can we first shout out Mike Tanner for coming on the show last week and mentioning that we need to bring the shout outs section of the podcast back. So shout out to you, Mike Tanner, for bringing it back.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. That was a very good feedback. So Anna from Make New, she's a listener apparently. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
She said that she was really digging what we were doing and loved it. So shout out to her. Go check out Make New.
Make New
spend lots of money.
Was actually mentioned in the promo video this week.
They were.
So if she hadn't seen that, Anna, we gotta send it over to her. That's why I put it in there so she can see we're talking about her.
Yes. Nice one. And the always lovely Lorraine, aka PD Picks.
PDP. Oh yes, I was talking to her the other day as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to PD Picks.
She said that she just is always so pleasant and warm.
Yeah.
And she had some very positive things to say about the podcast. And Chris Lowe, All Time Low on Instagram, I believe, he messaged us and said he's sorry. He's homies with Mike actually. He said he's sorry so late to actually listening to it because he's seen us talk about it and post it.
Nice.
And now he's a fan. So
respect.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out to him. So yeah, that's it.
Do we know Inda's last name?
No. I can't remember.
Yeah. Shout out to Inda. She's a writer from Moncton. She did a piece
very cool.
on she's doing a piece on the podcast. We chatted with her this week and I'm so sorry. If my phone wasn't recording and my computer wasn't in use, I would use my cellular device to shout your last name out. But much love to you for listening. Much love to you for meeting. I met her at Blog Jam actually with Mike.
Okay. Good
people's good conversation. She got a piece that's coming out about us. Lauren, you got any shout outs?
Nope.
I want to say shout out to Common Good Solutions because they allowed us to use that space to record for the last few weeks and
beautiful house
in our growth and our transition and figuring out what it is we're doing. This is probably the 8th or 9th or 10th place I feel like we've recorded episodes.
It's like moving, and every time just like put your shit in a garbage bag, to the next spot.
Just drag it to the next spot. But shouts to CGS, shouts to Host Often, shouts out to Peter Hemsworth, shout out to where else? The Halifax Social Network. We did the thing way up in what's it called? We recorded Harrison Lewis.
Good Robot. Did we record there? No,
we didn't record there. Shout out to Dalhousie and Podcant. 11.5. We were up there. So cheers. We are already getting ahead of ourselves. So now that's shout out. Peter, you got anybody shout out? Shout out to Peter Hemsworth for coming back on 1 year anniversary. Damn it.
No, I don't have anyone.
Shout out to Peter's mom.
Shout out to my mom.
Yes.
Sure.
Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all our moms.
Shout out to Peter's sister, actually. I met Peter's sister at Fashion Week and she was... She's dope.
She loves your stuff.
Yeah.
See? Much love to everybody. Much love to Parvati. Much love to Ephraim. Ephraim's in the back building. He don't say much, but when he do, he be shitting on Meek Mill. But I still love you, man. All right, Duane.
That was random.
You're going to take us through...
Take us back, Duane. Take us back
to the old school.
So the very first episode, I remember the title of it, these are my words, not the words of my employer.
Yes.
So I remember it because we had these conversations about early on. Terrence was gonna be. I think we were trying to plan out characters for ourselves.
Kinda.
You were gonna be like more outlandish. I was gonna be.
That's not a character.
I know. But we were trying to. I mean, we were saying characters, but
the personas.
We were looking at Breakfast Club and like trying to emulate or try to learn from people we had seen do this before. So like, okay, so DJ Envy's kind of like quiet and like gets to the topics, and he's over here, and Charlamagne does this. So we were kind of trying to do something similar, but we didn't know what the fuck we was doing.
Yeah, and it was like based on our real personalities, so it's not like we're acting or anything like that. But I was gonna be like the conservative dad. That was my title or whatever.
That never would have stuck, and it hasn't. So
What was yours, Pete? I can't even remember what yours
It was like the I don't know anything.
Oh, that's what it was.
I don't know what's going on. Tell me.
I'm here to learn all things.
I'm here to learn.
But
That's
it was
right.
cool because even in that, it was like that had created a character for, I feel like, even a lot of the listeners, because they were like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing either. And I think that was cool because you saying I don't know shit, and us coming out and being like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing or what the fuck we're talking about. We're just here having conversations and having fun and learning with each other. So I think that maybe even kind of drew people in and to be like, we just learning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that title was basically based off, because I have a day job. I was concerned that we were going to say some wild stuff.
Which we had.
And I was going to lose my job because of it. So he said, these are my words, not the words of my employer, which is true. It's not. So yeah. It was a nice
first episode.
It was our intro to the world.
How do you think we did?
People tell me that they really like it because people do this weird thing where they don't listen to the most recent episodes. When they find you, they go back and listen to the first episode.
That's true.
Okay.
So I've had a few people, even coworkers actually, that said, "Oh, I heard your podcast." I'm like, "Oh, which episodes?" Well, I only listened to the first one so far. So I'm like,
Interesting.
okay. So people go back and do that. So I think it was good for what it was. We were raw. But we're still raw.
We said a lot of fucks in the beginning.
Oh yes, that's right.
Our moms were pissed.
Yeah. Stop cursing so much.
Too many fucks. But we cleaned it up.
Yeah.
We cleaned it up over time a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Then we got episode 2, Maritime Hospitality. And we were wondering if maritime is too nice.
Oh yes.
Yes. And I think we also questioned if it was authentic.
Lauren, we've had the conversation about friendlier friends.
Friendly, not friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are we? Don't jump down that rabbit hole.
No, it just depends. Some yay, some nay.
My phone's gonna die.
No. Does anybody else have a phone?
I do. I got it.
Episode 3. What the fuck happened? Or what's I wish I had a fucking phone too.
Do you want to just use mine?
Yeah, let me see yours, love. I'll go to it.
You just gotta scroll this way. So episode 3.
Episode 3.
You're helping author?
Oh. Bermudian. Why do corporate companies hire athletes? Learn about Bermudian politics and artists walking the fine line of inspiration and plagiarism. I don't fucking remember what that episode was about.
Oh my god. Next.
Lessons from LeVar.
Who's really disappeared lately? LeVar Ball.
Well, no?
Is it because his son's ain't really balling?
Yeah, probably. I would have shut up too.
Do you think the Lakers
You're an
talk to him or
embarrassment.
not?
I think the Lakers are probably glad that LeVar Ball is not in all the headlines talking all the shit with LeBron and Magic and all the shit that's going on there.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best.
True.
Probably for the best.
I did see a guy wearing a big baby, whatever.
Big baller brand
the other day. And I was like,
Yo, it's crazy to think that was a year ago.
Yeah.
And he's a bust.
Lots of things started a year or ended a year ago.
So much shit happened.
Yeah.
Episode 5 from Make Sure Mount Rushmore. That was our first guest.
Yeah, Aaron
Downey.
Yeah.
And I remember the promo video because I think that was the first actual chopped together promotional video that we made for the episode.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I remember telling you keep making those.
Yeah, I do remember you saying that. It was crazy.
By the way,
go.
Kanye has been kicked off my Mount Rushmore since then. Speaking of changing perspectives,
Oh.
Yeah. We need a sound that plays when the narrative has been changed.
We talk about that. Make that note.
Yeah,
Soundboard.
Yeah, we do
For the
need
next year of stuff.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Noted.
Got it.
Okay,
Got it.
It's in there.
When the power goes out, Will Smith, Dave Chappelle. Oh yes, That was when the Dave Chappelle specials came out.
Yeah, that's right.
He was talking wild shit.
Everybody's power went out except for me. So too bad for you guys.
Trudeau said what? Episode 7. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's remarks on the arts, Oprah's potential presidential run, and H&M's latest controversy.
Yeah, which led to my fuck H&M shirt for
oh yeah,
moments in culture.
Shit.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, and I still look. I mean, look. I don't. Never mind. Okay.
I was like, just wait 3 more seconds.
Here's the thing.
Go.
I don't like to judge people, and I don't like people judging me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, when people tell you should cancel this person, and you can't tell somebody to cancel a person.
Right.
You know, they gotta choose to cancel Kanye or whoever they want to cancel for themselves. If they want to still listen to his music, more power to them. If they want to give him the benefit of the doubt, more power to them.
Right.
And H&M, I feel the same way. Like, I personally canceled H&M for me, but I try not to judge other people for not canceling it. But then my human weakness kicks in.
Yeah.
And I see a black person walking out of H&M when I go to the mall, and I'm like, you motherfucker. And then I have to stop myself and say, no, they have the right to make their own decision. Anyway.
Lauren, your phone locked me up. I can edit this part out.
2446.
I might just leave it in so if somebody comes to your house, they'll know where you
already know where you live.
And like my passwords and
they'll be able to get on your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly.
This is great news for anyone. Don't fuck with Lauren. All right, this is by far one of the greatest episodes in changing the narrative podcast history. Episode 8, Ignorant or Racist.
Yes.
The Matt Whitman controversy. This was our first moment. Now, Peter, I fucking know you remember being in that room and us looking at each other when Duane had his Matt Whitman moment legitimately feeling the energy in the room change. And when it happened, I was literally like, this is the thing. Something's gonna. I could feel it when it was coming out of Duane's pores, like because it was. And I'm so glad it happened because that was probably one of the first times where we just like when all of the shit just came off and it was like, here's how the fuck I really feel.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And that is the end of that conversation. And Duane just let that shit up, bro.
Yeah. I cursed out a politician on the podcast and didn't really seem to care. And I still don't really care. I probably said fuck Matt Whitman a few times after that.
No, you haven't.
Episode.
You definitely
We can go find them all, actually.
If somebody says something ridiculous, we should maybe have a fuck Matt Whitman drop on
that promo video. That promo video is what did it, actually, because it went all over social media.
Yeah, somebody picked it up, no?
Yeah, I got contacted by probably 3 or 4 different news agencies for interviews. And they were like, yeah, we want to talk to you about the video. I'm like, what are you talking about? That, with the Matt Whitman situation. And I was like, oh, damn.
We'll actually find this shit.
Yeah. It really, kind of was a moment. And...
Not kind of.
Well, it was a moment. It was a big moment. But I was disappointed in Matt's reaction to it, which at the same time, I'm not 100% surprised because he had an opportunity to address what happened and he chose to say that we did this for fame. And that was not the case. It was literally just an off-the-cuff rant that I was very considering not even including. I didn't want to say it, and then we just kind of like fuck it and put it in there. So yeah, instead of just addressing it and having a conversation about it or correcting the misinterpretation of what had happened, he chose to just say, be dismissive and gaslight. So
did the gaslight t-shirt come from that too?
Not specifically that, but collectively that was included, yes. So yeah. And, you know, it's the whole thing of, you know, you said some fucked up shit. You know you did. No, I didn't. No, you're crazy. Yeah. Yeah, so anyway.
How do you feel now about that whole situation?
I don't wish any negativity towards Matt Whitman, but I've had so many people come up to me afterwards and say they had experiences with him that were questionable. People who agreed that with what I did, I was really scared of how my work would react if I had a lot of coworkers who saw it and were like, that's messed up, that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
So, and then at the same time, it also brings up the question, I still have some empathy for the situation of, so he made a stereotypical comment about the size of my brother and I. And I still am, part of me is still saying, well, in Halifax, we don't really see too many plus 6 foot black guys walking around. So the assumption is, oh, they must be from basketball teams, from pro teams. So that, you know, as much as I hate it, I can still see why, but where he jumped to, and I still stick to it, is you should play. And if he saw me dunk the ball in my little promo video that I did the other day, my little Instagram post, whatever, or he saw me cook somebody in some highlight that I posted from my BLT school run, and he said, oh, he should play pro ball, then I'd be like, okay. But having just looking at a dude and make that kind of statement was just offside to me. So I still stand by my perspective on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. I'm locking. I'm going back into Lauren's phone. I remember her password, so it's all good. Episode 9. What's the cost of keeping it real? Which is like the summation of our whole podcast is like, is it worth speaking freely to the world and potentially being judged or criticized for the things that you say? Which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
That you could say some shit and it get taken. Look how many people that happened to this year. Who said some shit and now they got fucking canceled because of some shit that they didn't even mean to say.
Yeah. Look, the Montiel is most. You guys hear about that?
No, what happened?
So the Montiel was.
I know. I know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Works for CNN.
Yeah.
Black dude, young, always outspoken about social issues. He made a comment on something. I think he spoke somewhere about Palestine and how Israel has treated them.
Okay.
But in his comment, he used a term that is commonly used by Hamas, I believe.
What's that?
It's like a militant group in Palestine.
Okay.
I think it was I'm probably screwing this up, but it was from one of the militant groups that Israel always refers to as terrorists. So he used that term in describing the mistreatment of the Palestinian people, and the world went off because they perceived it as anti-Semitic and all this other stuff.
Right.
And he got fired from CNN as a result
of
talking about this. So it became this discussion among some of the black community and the social rights issues communities of should he have been canceled without being able to clarify if he was actually empathizing with this militant group or if he was just showing some humanity for Palestine. And people are saying there's a difference between anti-Semitism and criticizing Israel's policies.
Right.
And people are trying to automatically say he's anti-Semitic because he criticized these things, and CNN just fired him just like that. So, keeping it real can have a high cost.
God damn. What are those on your feet, by the way? Episode 10. Them pink ass Balenciaga Crocs.
I don't fuck with Crocs.
Peter, this was, I feel like, your topic.
Yeah, Crocs are cool now.
Yeah.
With okay, here's a question.
Never.
Because they are. Don't hate on the Crocs. Don't be so disrespectful, Lauren. When I was
I will be.
No.
I have to send you some new ones.
No disrespect. Yeah, Peter, put it on game. Come on, Papa.
No, honestly, I wouldn't wear Crocs myself, but
Thank you.
I had to wait.
I rest my case.
Peter took me up on the edge with him and then just
Listen,
left me.
my Smew girls will 100% agree with you guys. Listen, I shout out to my Smew girls. They totally, particularly Jamie. Listen, she's got like 75 pairs of fucking Crocs with 7,500 of those little
Charmy
titty bit things that you put on them.
You know, I shouldn't rule it out. Maybe I'll warm up to it for my style.
No, it's not possible.
I can see Peter as
All black pair of Crocs.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, all black.
All terrain though?
That could be cool. I'll make them out of like tie. Oh, I can't talk. I'm gonna make these. These are gonna be Beasley products.
Secrets. Shit. I was just gonna ask you something, Peter, about fashion. But I forgot what it was. But apparently we talked about Crocs. Live from Pod Camp, episode 10 and a half. That was our first live experience, y'all.
Yeah.
Your guys' first live
Well,
experience.
yes, that's true.
Were you nervous, Peter?
Not really for that. No.
What was that? Do you remember what the gist of the presentation was about?
I think we were talking about podcasting in general, if I remember.
Okay.
I can't remember, but I think.
I don't remember either.
Yeah, I think it was just that.
I think it was just here's the Change the Narrative podcast. Here's who we are, and here's what we do, and here's why we think it's important for us to exist.
Yeah.
And kind of introducing and sharing, and that's the beauty of things like PodCamp, where it's just like a free thing where you can go and you can speak and you can share what it is that you're doing, so people can learn about.
Follow your shit.
That's what I'm saying, right? So, shout out to Mike Tanner, one of the creators of PodCamp. He gave us the opportunity to speak to some people, and
Peter was there too.
Who?
Petey,
I was going to say, there's some people who I think still listen to the show, who we met that day. And I think that's what one of the big things we've been talking about is how do we reach people in a human way with a piece of content that is digital exclusively. Mm-hmm. So in the growth of the show, how do we build human connections to grow this thing? Because I'm like, if the internet were to die, no one would be able to listen to podcasts, obviously, but our impact, I feel like we should be able to walk down the street and walk around the community and people understand like, oh, that's a guy who actually started a business here, and like he shared his whole experience start to finish, and he was a dad with kids, and like this is how I can be a successful business person amongst all of these other odds. I think that's cool. I think even from hip hop, when you look at some of these hood legend type dudes, like these rappers who go back and they're loved in the community for their music, but also for the things that they do for the people who live in this community and the inspiration that they've created for those people who live in this area. So I think that part's really important for us, and that's why I think the live events is a thing that we started. We did it once, and then we're like, yeah, let's do this more. And I think it's something that moving forward we're going to continue to do because it works for those reasons. Boom. CTM will not negotiate with terrorists, episode 11. This one Salita came on.
Yes.
Shit, I forgot Salita came on.
Yes, she did.
This is when you had that controversy about your fashion show and the heels and stuff.
Yeah, there was some criticism that we shouldn't have had asked that when I had my fashion show, we asked if models, female models specifically, wore high heels in their audition, and someone criticized that we did that. So I felt like it was important to have Salita on because it was her choice. She's the model expert. She was the model expert on my Models and Culture show. She handles that side of it. So, and she's a very experienced model. So I felt she could articulate the reason for the heels being mandatory better than I could.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's different. I see that, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not part of that industry, but that is so different than asking a server to wear heels for a 9 or 10 hour shift in a bar, where she has to like run wet dishes or wet, glassware. You can slip. I've almost slipped.
Right.
And that can like seriously damage your feet and everything. You're doing that day in, day out. Generally, you can take your shoes off when you're done stomping the runway, you know?
Yeah, because here's the thing is like, for me in particular, I'm sure Pete's probably the same, and most people that I talk to at the Atlantic Fashion Week auditions, the walk of the model is super important. There's so many girls who have a great look, so many guys who have a great look that fit your brand, but then they start walking and you're like, I don't really, doesn't communicate the same way I thought it would. And if I don't always know whether or not I want a model to wear heels until I start styling the show and I start casting. So we want to at least have a baseline to say, if this model does end up wearing heels or combat boots,
then he or she can do well.
Exactly.
I did see there was a guy at Atlantic Fashion Week that stomped it, and he rocked that shit.
Yep.
Right.
I'm not even kidding you. Like, better than at least half the chicks I see downtown.
I got a fire shot of the heels with a pillar behind, like a super dope pan shot that you've still never seen yet. But
okay.
Fire.
Yeah, that same guy wore heels in my show. So
yes, exactly.
And
you wouldn't have let him walk in them if you couldn't walk in them.
He did, right. And we knew he could do it. He didn't wear them in the audition, mind you, but we proposed it to him and he was 100% down. And we knew he could pull it off. So you just need to know if a model can pull these things off. Period. Yeah.
You ever have a knife in your purse? Lauren, you ever have a knife in your purse?
Do you have a purse?
Dwayne's right. I hate carrying a purse. I really do. Because you feel obligated to fill that bag with just shit, and you can never find anything.
Yep.
It's a black hole. Seriously. So, you put stuff in there, it disappears. I keep a knife in my glove box.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because you never know when you're going to hit a deer.
Well,
that's your reason?
Yes.
So you're going to have to cut it out of your car? You really grew up in the country.
See, that's
that went left way quicker than I thought it was.
Jesus. Wow.
You know,
Oh,
I mean,
dear.
like, why waste good meat?
Are you fucking serious?
I'm very serious.
You know Lauren ain't wasting no good meat.
You're going to go and cut a deer up and take it home and say, hey, Carla, look what I got, and have slung over your shoulder.
Colin would cook the shit out of a deer.
Well, I'm
Exactly.
pretty sure he would.
Yeah.
I didn't think you would be like cutting it up and all.
That's how it happened last time. Not when we hit it with our car. When I got a deer, I gutted it.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Impressive.
Promo.
Wow.
Yeah, timestamp
Only
this
did
one.
it one time, and I haven't done it since.
You guys better
So you
watch
guys-
out for fucking Lauren.
Seriously, man?
I did it for my dad. It was like the first and last time we ever went hunting together, and like he couldn't even believe it. He was like, I've never fucking done that before. He's like, and I wouldn't. He's like, I can't even believe that you're doing this right now.
Wow, that's...
I was like, I gotta do it.
Y'all better not fuck with the low. Power of the low will chop your damn neck off.
I've gotten so soft. I used to like gut fish and all that stuff when I was a kid, and then
daughters.
I took my kids fishing like 2-3 years ago when I was back in Burmese. And I'm like, I don't want to hurt the fish. Like I've become so
Oh, listen, I did not. There was definitely a moment when I did it that I was like, holy shit. Because I interfered, this animal is no longer alive.
Yeah.
So it was not like,
you took it seriously.
I took it seriously. I was not like,
Yeah, because that's what I don't like.
No, I had a weird moment where I was walking towards it where I was like, is this thing gonna like jump up and
Not be there.
listen, that thing was
really
not
did.
going anywhere. It didn't go anywhere after I shot it initially. Like it just
Dropped.
dropped. So
It was still
but
alive
it was
when you
still
found it?
no, oh God, no. That thing wasn't alive like
She's a
2
murderer.
seconds
Dude.
after
That thing was dead. She's a murderer.
Yeah.
Headshot. Jeez, man.
Lauren the
I blew
murderer.
it. No, I blew its heart out. It just like. You don't want to like try. It's anyways.
Damn, fuck.
Don't fuck with Lo. And don't fuck with Alex Rose because she had a knife in her purse too.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, we completely derailed that.
Lauren told us that she fucking murdered a deer.
Yeah.
It was for food. It was not even for any other reason.
Talk about a rabbit hole that we can't not go down.
Yeah, if you actually ate it, that's
of course.
That's I think that's respecting it.
Deer tastes good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Pixels of people.
Oh, that was about meeting people on Instagram for the first time, I think.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, good robot.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
Pixels
Was
to
it an
people
Insta-meet?
Was
it Sean's Insta-meet?
the K-Kai Kiowa.
Oh, that was right after the event, though.
Oh, sorry.
Right?
Oh yeah, it was after the event. Yeah. Oh, we
Her show
left
was
the
awesome, too.
event and came right
That's
to
right.
recorded.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to don't let me blank right now. What's his name? What's the little boy's name? Caden.
Yeah, Caden.
Caden.
And Kaylana is the girl. Milani's the mom.
That was a
I
crazy.
can't remember the dad's name.
That was a crazy episode.
Yeah.
That was that was the first time we had took like an interesting left turn in what we were doing because that shit was like emotional and sad and whew. I remember your dad face, Duane.
Oh yeah, I almost shed a tear.
Remember Dwayne's dad face.
I was very concerned. Yeah, those kids
they went through some shit, yo.
and they're still every time I see them every now and then now still, so it's always
You know, you can't not know now.
yeah. It's just it's a lot of love for that family. They're just great people. They were at Atlanta Fashion Week. And,
Autumn
it's a
and
great
Jonathan. And
Yeah. Oh no, I know.
Flo walked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you were there.
No,
with
I
Joe.
wrote her after the show.
Oh, you did. Oh.
Yeah, because their show was amazing.
Yeah.
And it
They're
was
great.
so fun and fun loving and just
I love them.
it was really great. Yeah.
Episode 14, sales in the social media era. I think we just talked about how we are doing
We've
business.
talked about that so many times.
A million and one times, but that's okay. Ooh,
And then I arrived.
episode
And then
15.
you
What
got
is
stuck
this?
with me.
What is a social enterprise? Boom, Lauren. And that was Peter's departure.
Oh,
Was it that one?
I think it was. What is a social enterprise?
Yeah.
Or the one right after.
No, it was the one after that.
Yeah, shout out to Master Jones.
Yeah, we had Elle on the show.
L. Jones came.
That was one of my favorite shows.
That was that got deep.
I feel like we got learnt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Professor Jones
Yeah.
came.
Yeah. She schooled us and dropped us with a lot of knowledge. And then Peter faded away.
Faded away. I'm still here.
And then in and out. And then in and out.
Peter faded to the background. He put his headphones on and he became part of our listenership. And Lauren.
He was editing that shit for a bit and then was like, all right, guys. Yeah, I'm like. So remember when I said I'm done with the show? Yeah, now I'm serious. Bye. Not doing this shit anymore.
Yeah. Peter left it
And
off for
then
me.
he faded into the listenership.
Thanos.
And Lauren came. But you know what? I think that was really cool because that was a moment of you saying, I understand what my priorities are. I know what I need to do. I know what
Absolutely.
I want to do, but what I don't have the time to do. And I need to. And at first I was like, man, fuck. I really fucking like Peter. He's not on the show anymore.
You're talking like I died.
No, I know, but I looked for. But it was at your house.
Yeah, no.
We used to come hang with P. We used to chill. We used to see all the Beasley shit he was working on, the fucking art he had. It was an inspiring place to be.
Yeah, it was a good spot to be.
And then he fucking left us. And I felt sad. And then I realized that, no, this is what's best for Peter.
Mm-hmm.
And what kind of friend and business person who understands priorities.
It's nice of you not to be a selfish dick, Terrence.
I was in my feels for a minute though. And then I was
get
like,
it.
you know what? I love Peter for a bit. Then I was like, this guy actually was like, I love you all and I respect what you're doing, but I gotta focus on me. And it's one of those moments where I even look back and I'm like, if I'm doing the most or spreading myself too thin, I'm like, well, what the fuck? And I'm like, remember when fucking Peter said, fuck the podcast? I gotta work on it.
But he knows. Like you gotta get. If you're gonna put something else on your plate, you have to take something off your plate,
Yeah.
or you're eventually gonna burn out or
eat too much food and be sick.
Oh yeah.
My whole thing is with quality. Like, I want to, if I'm gonna do something, I need it to be the best I can do, or I'm just gonna hate myself. Because if I'm like slacking and half-assing 3 different things, like that's just the worst feeling to me. I hate doing that. So yeah, that was the one thing, especially with this, because Lauren had just come on. We were like, that lines up so well as the future of the podcast. So yeah, it was a tough decision though, because I do like hanging out with you guys. So,
You know I'm only razzing you.
No, I know.
Good. Okay, good. Because I'm telling you, man, like I think there's a few moments with a few people, like Lacey Keown's a person where I think about all the shit that she did, and I'm like, man, if this fucking 16-year-old, 17-year-old at the time could do this shit, what fucking excuse do you have? So I always look to that as like a motivational type of moment, and I always think about Peter's moment where I'm like, I need to focus on me. And then I saw somebody really focus on them and see the work they've created. And I'm like, yeah, I got to start thinking more like Peter. So I appreciate that, and just in the growth of it, but just like even being able to witness somebody prioritize their life and do it in a way that was best for them. And I was like, I fuck with this guy.
Yeah, it was just based off talks we had in prior episodes too, is what's crazy about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just talk about it and you came to that conclusion, and then boom. Nah, I love it. I'm glad we had it, and then we grew into somebody who I had dreams of doing something like this before it even started. And then the timing didn't make sense, and then like you said, it was perfect timing.
Yeah, Lauren came up a lot before. Yeah,
timing's everything.
So 17 was Annie. 17 was recreational medicine. So shout out to Annie, and then 18 was We Choose Atlanta, Canada. So little baby Y here.
Yeah.
Feminism Talks, the Brilliant Idiots conversation, and then Lauren, you said you had a friend who was
my bestie. Shout out to Sarah Cox, my best girlfriend, BGF. Kind of gave me some heat a little bit about a couple of the episodes where we've talked about some like feminist topics, and we're just like, go there if you're gonna do it, like
all in,
go there, you know, and you know, we had a really respectful conversation about it because I want her honest feedback. Right. We want the honest feedback from the listener. She was like, "Oh man, you let those two say that."
What did we say?
I gotta go back and listen. I can't remember. Yeah. But she was like, it wasn't like a bad thing. It was just like, I'm surprised. Because it's me.
You were just getting your feet wet, though.
And maybe that's true. And maybe that's true, too. So I'd love to go back to some of those topics
because you ain't gonna hold
next
back
year.
now.
No, in 2019, we're bringing it.
Good.
Yeah.
Bring that
Raw and unfiltered.
I like it.
There you go.
Tilt your mic.
This way?
Yeah, a little bit more. Watch it, though.
Lauren
20.
Got one of us.
20 was...
19.
19 was...
Par said her favorite episode.
Oh, this was Par's favorite episode.
Which one was it?
Love with Lauren.
I'm telling you, people want...
Sex Talks with Lauren?
100%.
Well, why? What?
I remember something about dongs in your face or something.
Yeah. Sex with Sue. Why you put Lauren's face on the Sex with Sue body?
That was hilarious. Terrifying, but so funny.
It fit. Oh, it's too good.
It was...
Just Duane's graphic design and Photoshop skills.
You said that.
That was a fun episode. I remember that. We were recording at CGS in the echoey little room.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why we started going off about that, but it was... Apparently, I was in the mood. I don't know.
She was talking about dongs, and it was good times. Apparently good. Par, why was it your favorite?
Lauren's voice. That's my first little bit of a girl crush on Lauren.
Oh,
just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And you heard Lauren's luscious lips on the mic.
Was that your first episode listening to it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But then you heard
Lauren.
Lauren.
That's when I like
and now she's here. Shouts to Lauren and her sweet serenade.
Thanks, you guys.
What happened after that?
You know what's nice about that though? Because growing up, and I talked about this before, like people would call the house and think that I'm my dad. And like I've got a really deep, your voice is really deep, and I'm like, it is. But finally it has a purpose.
There you go. It's beautiful.
Besides like yelling at athletes in a gym.
Yeah. That's good too. 20. I bet you I know 20. 20 was KO.
Yep.
Yeah, damn
was
right
awesome.
it was. That was our longest episode.
Yes.
We deep dove into Winter in St. Lucia.
Yeah.
So anybody who hasn't listened to Winter in St. Lucia, get to fucking Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to shit at and check that shit out.
And now you're back at 21.
I'm back at 21 now. And 21 was a continuing conversation with KO. Because we were there all fucking
No, we
night.
did 20.5.
20.5, yeah, it was 20.5. 20.5. We continued talking with KO, so that shit was stroke music.
Another Lauren bar.
Hashtag.
Music.
What's it called, Lauren?
Stroke music.
Hashtag. Just say it one more time.
Hashtag stroke music.
Yes.
Let's listen to that shit when I was doing the dishes this morning.
Referring to Alfie, right?
Ooh.
Yeah, Alfie and his stroke
Yes.
music. Yeah.
Yes.
Alfie makes stroke music.
Alfie in his stroke music. Shout out to Alfie in his stroke music.
Shout out to Alfie.
Episode 21. Ye trolls the narrative.
Yeah.
Who did he scoop?
That was when we were
I
trying to
remember
figure
seeing
out.
Brielle's face.
I remember watching the video
Yes.
because I had never heard the song, and you guys were like,
Yes.
no, hey, that's so good, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just listening to it the very first time, and it's like, scoop dee whoop. And I'm like, okay.
Whoop did he scoop?
Whoop dee scoop. Okay.
Poop dee whoop dee
No,
scoop.
scoop, yeah. You just see my head go, what?
This sounds...
Did I just hear poop? I did
Yes.
just hear poop.
Yes. Kanye was rapping about poops.
So that has a part in the new Drake
Oh, really?
narrative / beef or whatever.
Oh, that was the beat that Drake was supposed to be on.
Right.
And then Kanye didn't put Drake on the song, and then he released... It's something around that, right?
He invited Drake to Wyoming with all that shit that he was doing for his album and he was recording. Drake apparently shared a lot of his secrets with Kanye, including what he was working on and when he was releasing it.
Yes.
Kanye exploited this information apparently. And this beat that he put the poopity scoop on was a beat that Drake said, oh, I really want that beat. You know, that was a beat he was gonna put on one of his projects or whatever. And Kanye
That's
released it
brutal.
with that shit on it.
That's brutal.
So he basically trolled Drake with, you can't have this beat, I'm gonna put some bullshit on it and release it.
Right.
Like right after he left Wyoming.
Right after, so basically Drake was like, fuck, I guess it's not good on Scorpion. And I think that kind of...
And here we are. And then what happened?
Episode 22, Let Your Freak Flag Fly. Peter,
That was a fun one too.
You can chime in at any time.
Yeah, I'm just going through ones that I'm trying to remember listening to.
This week we chat about things going on in our industries, B Corp, 100-day field trip, big changes in the fashion house at Louis Vuitton. Oh, that's must have been what Virgil got thing. Kanye speaks and sinks in for another round. Steph LeBay battles with the boys. Oh, what was that about?
She was trying out for the men's soccer team.
Yeah.
Nationally, because there's like a women's equivalent. And they were like, you'd be on the team, except you don't have a dick.
Right.
And she's all good with it. It's just...
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm just trying to remember where Let Your Free Flag Fly. The top, like the title, like where the title would come from.
Must have been something in there.
We said something inappropriate.
Well, I'll have to go back and listen.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
Childish Goats. That was
Greatest of all
episode
time
23 of
conversation.
LeBron and versus MJ, and then Childish Gambino. The This Is America video came out, so we dug into those. So anybody who didn't get a chance to check those out, check those out. The Moment of Culture with V. So we previewed all of the moments in culture stuff that you were doing.
Right.
We talked about the show. We dug into that. That was great. And then that was 24. And then 25 was Lady Talk. It was V, you and I. And we talked.
That was a good
I don't even remember what we talked about. Women in politics. Oh, clothing. The politics of women's clothing. And who can wear what. And the rules around all of the things and what. Okay. Who that phone making noise? Brielle. That's mine?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening.
Tisk.
My bad, yo. My bad. 26, live with the Halifax Social Network.
Oh. Such a fun episode.
Demetrius Ferguson,
weekend.
Laura McCauley.
Yeah. And Jan and Chris from A for Adventure at the Harrison Lewis Center.
Harrison Lewis, baby. Shouts to Halifax Social Network.
It's amazing. That was just an incredible weekend all together. We did some hiking. We were on the beach. We had tremendous food. That's when we all met Autumn and Jonathan, Flo, and it was incredible.
3410. Everybody knows everyone's cell phone codes now. Just had to get
3s, 4s, 1s, 0s, 6s.
Yeah, yo. So shouts to Halifax Social Network and that whole thing.
Another live show.
27 Love is. Oh yeah, another live show. We did with like what 12 people in a little small audience. It was
like 12 or 15.
Experience. Yeah, it was good. 27 Love was fucking hard. I think this is where I was like confessing why I couldn't find love, and I was really frustrated and challenging.
That was an emotional one.
Precursor to Tinder talk. That was it was the summer, and it was just love was fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
Love is fucking hard thing. So if you want to know how I feel about love and feelings and emotions,
go there. Yeah.
Episode 27. But if you want to learn about the power of the low, you need to listen to episode 28. You were sick. And you came back and we talked toxic masculinity, ugly cries, males and female egos, video game and social media addictions, desensitization to violence and manifestation, and the power of the tongue. That's where we got the name from, because we made some sexual joke about the power of the tongue being on the low and what Lolo means. And
in St. Lucia.
And so, boom, the power of the Lolo. Much love to KO as always. What's next for our businesses was episode 29, so we recapped what was going on in our businesses. So those episodes are cool too, because we've done that a few times. So as people can go back and listen to specifically our business development, like you could probably find 4 or 5 episodes where we're talking about what we were doing before and what we're doing now and the things that we talked about. Oh, I'm going to start doing this in the future. And actually, I said I was going to do that, but now I'm actually doing something in the growth. And so I think those episodes are really, really cool, because the summer was getting busy. I could never fucking get the 3 of us all in the room together at one time often. But it's okay, because we made it happen, because episode 30 is Why Is It Called Scorpion? Peter Hemsworth. Jesse Ingalls, we reviewed Drake's Scorpion album. Yeah. And Peter loves talking about Drake.
I mean, I have complete changed thoughts on that album since then too. Like, every song I said I liked the exact opposite songs. I don't know what happened.
I remember you saying you picked God's Plan was one.
I said it was a good like hit song, and then I think I said like Sanders Rose.
Yeah.
And a couple other ones, but I don't know.
Now what's grown on you?
Like, I like the R&B side a little bit more.
Really?
A little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stroke music.
You practicing your In My Feelings dance?
No, but maybe one day. I'll get the next dance.
Peter's not going to do anything.
I'm not doing that.
Don't let Peter lie to you. Peter ain't doing
I'm not a dancer, no.
Why don't you like dancing, Peter?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's for later in life. I played drums for 10 years.
But can you move those hips, though?
I don't know. I can't divulge that information.
Howard and Lola, baby. That's all it is.
Next episode.
Yeah, next episode we talked about, or that we recorded, was the trip to Magic Mushroom Land.
Brother Nature.
I did like that episode.
Episode 32. Peter, what'd you say?
I love listening to that episode. It was so good.
Why?
Because it was so good. Like, because weren't you at Shuby Park?
Yeah.
And I was like, I know Shuby Park.
Right.
Like, and I was just like picturing you. Like, it was just, it was so funny.
That was one of the most peaceful days of my whole life.
Do you know that location he was talking about?
Yeah, like I know. When you were describing it, I know exactly what you were doing. So it was hilarious.
Is it just as nice, or is it actually like a shithole?
I mean, it's pretty nice, actually.
Okay, well, that's good.
It's pretty nice.
No, but I meant the other location.
The other location?
Where Mario lives.
Oh,
no, I haven't discovered that location yet.
If you guys could ever find it, you might enjoy it.
Right.
It's not even really that hard to find, but you got to do certain things in order to get there. Sometimes if you jump high enough, you might hit your head on a brick. You're small though, so you have a lot of bounce. When you hit your head on a brick, the magic mushroom jumps out of the brick and says, "You want to grow?" And you say, "Who wants to be small forever?" So you eat the magic mushroom and you grow into a Super Mario. And life feels good after that.
You need the Mario sound effect. How's it go?
Add that to the soundboard.
Add it in post, baby. So yeah, that was good. That's probably one of my favorite episodes because I don't think I gave any fucks.
No.
I think that's one of the episodes where I started even giving less fucks. So it was like, hey, if we're gonna talk about this,
then it's all out there.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Who cares now?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, actually, I should step back because I feel like the Love Is Hard one too. I think was for you a moment where you kind of started to let your guard down more and was like, fuck this, just let it out.
Yeah. That happened.
Yeah.
Felt good. Feels great.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had people I could actually talk to about this shit because again, the therapeutic feeling that this show has for me. And then when we were away and like we didn't get to fucking talk for like 6 weeks. And I was like, oh, I'm missing something in my life. So I love it. Paradigms of Love, episode 32. That was Will Smith. Interview on Rap Radar, which is probably one of the better interviews of the year. And Will just fucking let it out. And we started talking about relationships with love and how people treated certain people. Yeah, whether it was easier raising boys or girls. Romantic relationships. Oh, we talk about what conversations our parents had with us as youth, preparing us for romantic relationships in our future. And Hillary came by that week. So, Paradigms of Love. Good episode. Is it a business or a hobby? Featuring Peter Hemsworth. Who was it the three of us?
Can't remember.
Peter joins. No, it was the three of us. Lauren, he must not have been here. He must have been sick. No, it was the three of us. Again, we talked about what it is that we're doing. If we're doing this thing just to do it and it's fun, that's a hobby. If you're not making money off the thing you're spending all this time doing, are you going to be a hobbyist forever? And so, again, we've had that conversation so many times. Culture Clash live with Kashmir.
Yeah.
Another live show. That was great.
She's badass. That was
that was cool.
People came out to that. That was good.
Peter was there.
That was good.
Peter was there for sure. So that was always love. Cultural Currency with Will Strickland.
That was one of my favorite episodes.
That was good. 35.
Yeah.
That was like 2.5 hours of like game.
I feel like we still have stuff that he mentioned on that show that we could implement to make us even better. Like he totally could have schooled us more than he did.
Yeah.
And he was just giving us nuggets here and there. But he's super entertaining and super smart. So I really enjoyed that.
Go back and listen to the legend, Will Strickland.
Notepad show where you just sit there with a notepad and just like
totally. Plus all of his like historical backstories to like huge developments in hip hop culture and sport.
Yeah, if you like basketball specifically and you like hip hop, he is.
It's a great show.
He knows a lot of people that you probably have a lot of respect for,
including their middle names.
Yes, he does. Will Strickland knows most people's middle names.
Yeah,
it's fucking great. 36 around the corner.
Terrence opened up again.
about my pregame musical choices, my slow jams.
I was not on this episode.
Yes, you were.
Was I?
Yeah, you were here. After 2 weeks of chaos, the crew is back to catch up and talk sex, dating, and slow jams. Talk about Duane's adventure to PEI, Lauren's crunch, and getting ready for Scotland, and Terrence is back from Toronto with stories to tell. What's the dating landscape like on Tinder these days? How do women in big cities differ from smaller ones? Do you really want women with lip injections? And Terrence was married before.
Oh yeah. Yeah. God, I remember.
I've been spilling the beans.
Yeah,
that's fine. It's just life.
That's what it is.
Male plastic surgery, episode 37. It's about Safari getting a hairline.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah. What cover is that though?
That's. No, Around the Corner is the one.
Around the Corner is Terrence.
The Tyrese
one, yeah, because he's listening to
Tyrese. Tyrese. Everybody go look at that cover again, and the number of people that actually asked if that was Terrence.
Hey,
you got a lot of new fans.
We
got a lot of new fans.
Sex sells, baby.
Did Terrence shave his head? Yeah, and he got every single one of his tattoos taken off too.
And I got a fucking 12-pack in 4 hours.
Okay, listen, you're not hurting.
Well, I'm not hurting, but I don't look like naked Tyrese.
Like,
He's also 5'2", isn't he?
no, he's 5'10", I think, or 5'11".
Bullshit.
No, he's a model.
Bullshit.
Like a male model. He was anyway. You can't be below a certain height. They want relatively tall
Someone
dudes.
needs to see. Where's Kyler?
Big man.
Yeah, that was one of the other stipulations on our casting too. Someone criticized that we had a height restriction for the males. So yeah, in the traditional male model industry, it's like 5'10",
singers
6'2".
and shit usually get a pass around that kind of stuff.
He was a model before he was a singer.
We're gonna have to.
Somebody,
we're gonna have to fact check, please.
Tyrese's height right now, so we'll get
Yeah,
that.
he got his break in model.
Okay.
37, male plastic surgery.
5'9".
How many?
5'9".
5'9".
Oh,
Told you. No way.
okay. Well,
He's not the biggest dude.
no.
That's fine.
I knew 5'3" was being ass, but I figured like
That
5'7".
over exaggerate. You know how it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like, oh, you might as well be 5'3" if he's not 6'7".
Jokes,
you know.
yo, that's great. 37 men getting new hairlines, professional sports in Halifax, Lauren's cousins in Crazy Rich Asians. Musicians like Travis Scott and Nicki Minaj making money off of their art by packaging it in creative ways. Remember how Nicki Minaj was getting all mad? And Travis Scott was selling hoodies and clothing with his album and then counting those as album sales. But we got into the conversation of, well, shit, how are you supposed to make money in an age where everything is digital? People are buying music. How do they get something physical? Before we used to get CDs with the books and you could look through and you had tangible things. How do you have tangible things in a world where everything's digital? So just creative ways in order to create business and some jokes, of course. All right. Then we got to our pre-recorded break that we took. So we had...
God had to.
Well, we
Can
were...
you imagine trying to survive otherwise? Oh my God.
No way. So we took 6 weeks of like physical time off from the show. We recorded 4 episodes, and we broke one of them into 3 parts. So we had Alfred Burgesson, Black Excellence featuring Alfred Burgesson, parts 1, 2, and 3. Sat down at CGS, and it's funny, and I'm going to say something about this, and I hope Alfred doesn't get upset at me, but me and Alfred had a conversation about the show, and we had talked about, I was like, man, like, you was on the show, you like, I need you to promote it, like this and that, and it was very interesting. And people who aren't used to speaking on microphones, the Tinder episode that we recorded yesterday, we had this conversation. People, we can do this, and it took us some time, and like we still aren't really doing this the way the pros do it. But you think about people who aren't used to sharing this openly. We talked to Alfred for 3 hours.
Yeah.
The amount of things that somebody would share and divulge in the safe space that we've created for people to say some shit that they probably wouldn't say otherwise. And to see and understand someone who's 19, 20 years old, of like, do I want to share all of this information with people? Do I want to promote? How comfortable do I feel promoting the like rawness of myself? And so Alfred and I had that conversation. I thought it was really interesting. I never even thought about it like that, because we're just fucking used to this now.
I get that. Like, I wouldn't. I see that point of view, because I thought about that all the time.
What do you mean?
Like, divulging a lot of shit about you on a podcast.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I understand that struggle.
Yeah.
But what was the rest of the conversation like?
Oh, it was just about, I was like, man, like, we got you on 4 episodes, guys. Like, I need you to post the shit somewhere so people can listen to it.
Embarrassed.
And I don't know if the word's necessarily embarrassed, but it was a bit of like, holy shit, like I just shared a lot.
Well, and you guys know how it is. When we've turned off the microphones, do you remember everything you just said?
Oh,
God,
hell no.
No.
God, no. And then sometimes when you listen back, we were talking about this where...
Yeah, you're like,
Well,
Right.
yeah, we're not going to edit everything.
Right.
Because that's not the intent.
Right.
We're trying to be as raw about it as we can, but sometimes raw is raw.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're going to say some stuff or you're going to learn later and then you're feeling silly about what you said before.
Yeah.
So I think I'm trying to take that mindset with it, because it is weird putting yourself out there, particularly because I'm really not on social media for a reason.
Right.
Like, for that reason. I don't want people in my business, so I'm choosing what business to share.
Right.
Which, when I get going, sometimes is all the stuff. But then, there are certain things that I still haven't really talked about on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to
as openly
pick and choose. Yeah, of course. It's natural. And even the most transparent people do that. I'm always concerned about hurting my family, to be honest, when I say certain things. So
yeah, that was going to be kind of my next question. Is like, how are we all dealing with, and how did you deal with it, Peter, in terms of like feeling like you're oversharing? Because we are.
Yeah.
Oftentimes. How do you deal with that? Like Duane, you just said like you're worried about hurting your family. Like, how do you manage that?
I don't know how to be honest, just lucky. At first I was a little butthurt that my wife, I don't know. Oh, actually, I heard you shouldn't use that term anymore.
Butthurt?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the reason for it, I don't necessarily agree with, but I just, out of respect for people, I won't say it anymore.
Okay.
So anyway, my whole thing is like, my wife's very private, and at first I was a little upset that she didn't really listen to the podcast or wasn't interested in listening to the podcast. Now I'm kind of glad she doesn't listen to the podcast. Okay. Yeah. So it's difficult because, to be honest, I just don't really care what most people think, but I do care what she thinks.
Right.
So that's kind of why I have a cavalier attitude now, and I'm realizing I thought I was going to be the conservative dad and everything. It's mostly because of her. It's not because of anybody else. It's because I don't want her to feel a certain kind of way about things.
Right. Yeah, I've had interesting feelings about what I was sharing, and like dating and relationships, especially with the two of you, like being in very committed relationships, and like me not, like at times not being so much. I was like, do I really want to talk about this with people? Like, do I want to share intimate details of things with people? And I'm like, no. And so, and then you also know that you have people in your life who may hear what you say and maybe not understand the context, and maybe not even give a shit about the context, but just hear the words you say and say, bro, do you fucking hear what you just said?
Yeah.
Do you know how that makes me feel? And so I think that's really challenging.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, friends who might be listening, they think you might be talking about them or something.
Right.
That has been a concern for me too.
Does it bother you enough though? No.
It does. Certain friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
Have
them.
you had one of these conversations with someone who was like, hey, I heard what you said?
No, I haven't. But then certain people got distant, and then I'm like, I wonder if it's because they heard the show.
Right. And
think that I'm talking about them. Because I use friend generally, when I say stuff.
Right.
But it's hard to share your truth, because as a business person, as a entrepreneur, for me, like, your personal life and your business kind of intertwine, and it's hard to disconnect and be transparent about struggles that you're having without mentioning those things sometimes.
Right.
So it's tough.
How did you deal with these things, Peter?
I left a lot out. I left a lot of stuff out because I think when I went into it, I was like, I'm not really willing to talk about family, or whenever I was speaking about things, I was like talking in broader strokes, right?
Right.
Just because, I don't know, I am a relatively private person as well. So yeah, I think a podcast format, when you're getting really deep and into things and everyone's sharing stuff, I was like, I definitely struggled with that, being like, what do I say, what do I don't? But yeah.
Right. Because I think that's interesting for people who, like, it's a thing to start a podcast, but it's a thing to figure out the topics you want to talk about, and understanding that we're talking about lives as entrepreneurs. It's really hard to separate the fact that you have a family and expectations and timelines and things you have to do that are outside of your business, but are so directly connected to everything that you do every single day.
Yeah.
So I've had wearing feelings about, am I sharing too much, or do I share that?
I think we're gonna learn as we go.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna be perfect. we haven't been perfect.
Right.
And like I said, I think you just gotta have some humility in the process because you're gonna screw it up. And when you do, can you own it and be honest about what you learned from it?
Yeah.
And I think it's also a good exercise to try and think about what you're saying before you say it.
Yeah.
Like that is definitely, you try to use the right words.
Right.
But it's when you get into the stories that get you heated again that you're just
let
more
it go.
excited. You're just like, or it's a really good story and you're like, bah.
Yeah. Because I see like 99% of my problems are related to time and what's taking my time, my job, my family, my friends. Like, sorry, when I say 99% of my problems, 99% of my problems for my business. Like, I need more time to devote to it so that I can resolve these problems. But what am I doing when I'm not doing my business? I'm doing those three things.
Right.
So that's where it becomes tricky, and that's why I find that stuff is always intertwined and hard for me to separate personally. So I'm like really working on being honest about having challenges without seeming like I'm shitting on my job, my family, or my friends.
Right.
Because I don't want it to come off that way, because I'm not. Like,
right.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to share authentically how you feel, and sometimes those.
It's
money. It
it's
can
money.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. Thank you, Alfred, for that tangent we just went on.
Thanks a lot, Alfred.
We love you, MD. But no, it's like, I think that's important, especially for new podcasters and people who may be listening to us aspiring to be podcasters. It's like, think about the topics and the things you want to get into, because depending on where you decide you want to go, that might be somewhere you're not comfortable going.
Yeah.
And if you build your show on that consistently, then it's like, what are you doing here?
That was a question that was asked to us at podcast. Remember
What was it?
The young ladies that are doing,
yes,
and I forget what the podcast is called. Yes, Aaron, I listened to the podcast, but they
Creative Hustle. They were just starting out, and we're like, how do you guys know what to share and what not to share? Yeah, we said we didn't have a fucking clue. We have no idea.
Yeah,
but we've with reps and doing this consistently, we've figured that out, and so we and then essentially
mostly
you can, right, and you can kind of tell when you feel like you're going, like, there's episodes when we talk about them, like, oh yeah, I kind of knew when this conversation we got into it, and I was like, okay, it's coming, like stuff's coming, and so it's kind of even preparing yourself to know how to handle those things while being like authentically yourself, but not trying to censor yourself too much, because you might turn a lot of the things that need to be said down. Yeah. Joseph.
That was, I think, the most I laughed on an episode.
Joseph.
Or one of the most.
DGS is in the building. Joseph Foyer, episode
I think
39.
Level 4 was probably pretty good, but yeah.
Joseph
was laughs. Like, I remember like the first 20 minutes, he was just doing the Joseph thing. Yeah. And you and I were just looking at each other every time, just like, this guy just buckling laughing.
Yeah. Joseph's great. Social Shift. What would he be, his role have been in that? Like, so I can...
At the time?
Yeah. So we can shout out Social Shift and give Joseph his props.
Oh yeah, no, he's doing some business development stuff.
No, but what did he do as Social Shift person? Business development? Because he was on the road.
No, he was one of the interviewers, yeah.
Okay. I just want to get his title.
Yeah, I don't know what they...
He's a doer.
Yeah.
Joseph Foyer, the doer.
Yeah.
The filmmaker. Joseph Foyer, the filmmaker.
Hire.
Joseph Hire. Sorry. Yes. Shit. Joseph Hire, the filmmaker. Sorry, Joseph.
I didn't know him, actually, so I met him the day he recorded, and I didn't stay for the episode, but I listened back, and his military background and all of that was impressive to me. He seemed like very interesting.
Dude. Joseph's super good dude. Then we had part 2 of Alfred. Then we had the autobiography of Alfred. Like we did. But here, you think the man spoke for 4.5 hours about his life and hasn't done this ever before. That would feel really naked on the internet.
Look, totally. That is how it feels.
The very first episode that I was a guest on, the first podcast that I was a guest on, I was like, I was nervous about sharing it, for sure, because you just never know how people are gonna interpret it. But people just love the honesty, so then I realized, okay, that's cool.
Much love to AB once again. Then we had part 3, and then we had Feminine Strength in Atlanta Fashion Week. Episode
with Jody.
Episode 43 with Jody.
That was awesome. She came in looking fly as hell too.
Yeah, she did. She had heels. I remember Jody
She's like,
brought the
this is
heels.
sports
Like,
and fashion, right? Like, I got them. I'm like,
Jody, she said, I got these heels because I know you guys are filming. So if I need to put my heels on, I'll put them on. Otherwise, we just chilling barefoot. But much love to Jody. Much love to Atlanta Fashion Week. And then we had CTN updates in the Beasley 8 p.m. episode. You guys did a little chit chat right before Atlanta Fashion Week. What was that all about?
We're just talking about what you could expect from our shows and that, and the process going into it. It was good to have that conversation too, because I was like, most of the stuff leading up to that I was doing like alone, like figuring all this stuff out, and then that was the moment where I was just getting into the process with like meeting with all the makeup people and the hair people and stuff. So we were right in the pocket to talk about all the stuff going on. It was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, same. Yeah, it was just nice to sort of share that experience with us
shop
being,
talk.
Yeah, like us being solo. It's like we needed someone to shop talk with, and it was good to do that.
Nice. And then the New Breed, episode 45. The New Breed, our first episode recorded after like 2 months.
Yeah,
I'm not spending any time together. Damn, we had everybody. Welcome Pyre to the team. Parvati to the team.
Yay!
Brielle, you were there. you were there.
Sure.
Were you not there? No, Brielle wasn't there. No, you weren't there. Shit. Who was there? Sandra was there. Sandra Hannabaum and Tunde.
And Kyler.
And Kyler. Welcome Sean. Kyler to the team. And Sean was there. That was our first. That was our first. We had all the cameras and the lights and shit. It was our first go at this improved production.
Yeah. That's when I came back. I was like, what the fuck is all of this?
We trying to turn it up. We had, that was our first recording with the new microphones.
Yeah.
Our new whole setup. So we still wouldn't.
Are they all fixed now? Like after this, or I guess with this episode, we'll have to like listen back.
What do you mean? Are they fixed?
Switching between. Well, you'll get to it. The bromance episode.
Oh, there was
There were issues with that.
That's what I'm saying. So we had.
I know.
We worked through it. We had the next episode was bromance, and we had Bradley Day and Kyler, and there was a fucking. We had the wrong interface. We had a new interface, but it was delayed, and then it was fucking everything else. We couldn't listen to this shit in the headphones, so nobody could hear that the sound was fucked up because you couldn't hear yourself because you would hear yourself a half second later, and it was just way too confusing.
You can't think. You just can't think.
You can't. Right. So
it's weird.
We were working through our technical difficulties, but much love to Kyler and Bradley. Bradley King. We talked CFL and bro stuff. It was a great time. And then followed by that, it was myself, Duane, and Dexter Unibae.
Yeah.
Dexter became talking mental health. We talked black journalism. Great dude. He did a piece, WTV Media, W something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I want to say WTV, man. It's NSCC's news channel.
Yeah, they did a story on us a while ago too when we first started. Remember?
Is that the same?
Yeah, I think it's the same.
What was her name?
Carly,
yes. Okay, shit. Well then, yeah. Much love to NSCC, and love to Dexter as well. So, next episode was Social Enterprise 101. This was
Steffi.
With Steph, episode 48. Holy shit, yo. We talked Social Enterprise. We learned a little bit more about it. Dwayne got all excited. You could tell because he was learning. You could see the wheels turning.
I was learning. I really like Steph too.
She's great.
She's just
Stephanie Pronk, baby. She's amazing. That's my boss.
I mean, she had like this.
I love her.
This like, if you watch those teen movies, like the nerd girl that ends up being hot at the end of the movie, she had that vibe.
Totally. Oh, listen. Stephanie Pronk, you know it's true. You heard it from Duane. So stop acting like you're not the hot shit, because you are.
Because she was like, I'm the nerdiest guest you guys have ever had, and blah, blah, blah. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, embrace it. We know that. That's why we love you.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's a huge asset.
Much love to Steph. And then, last week, episode 49, the N-word for dummies.
Yes.
Oh my god,
with Mike
those
Tanner.
were hilarious.
The facial expression of Lauren.
That's why I'm glad we got all these cameras, because Lauren makes all the faces and does all the things. Now we're fucking here. Episode motherfucking 50.
Yeah.
Lauren, tell me what you want to happen moving forward with CTN? Make it quick before your camera dies.
I want to sit down with a really big ass whiteboard so we can set like the plan and actually have like more strategy around certain topics or guests you want to have on. I would love to have some guests on with different abilities. I think we focused a lot on the color conversation this year or the gender conversation this year. Or we could focus a little more on the gender side. And all the fluidity in between. We've sort of gone, you know, hetero, homo, but never anything sort of mixed in the middle or different. And I want to dig back into that feminist conversation. But I think there's a lot that we can do. I think maybe there are certain messages or perspectives we'd like to share and get there. And I'm sort of just sharing with Duane, and I shared it with you last night, Terrence, talking about doing like the long unedited episode or whatever moderately edited episode for clarity, and then doing like highlight only. That's like 20 minutes versus an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Right.
And just see
what works, what happens.
But I'm excited. There's lots to look forward to.
Yeah. Wayne.
Absolutely.
What am I looking for? That's really tough for me. I guess if we could get it tighter in terms of time, which is coming along anyway because we're still figuring this shit out.
Right.
That would be better for me in terms of like how I can schedule things with my family.
Right.
Because that's becoming a challenge at this point.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's all I really want. And let's get this thing earning some revenue.
Yeah. That's the plan. What about you, Pete? What do you feel like we could do or should do, focus on moving forward?
I think the coolest thing, like I said at the beginning, was you're just telling all these different stories.
Right.
And that's, as the podcast has grown, because I think when we first started, we were like, I was more thinking, oh, we could all just like, people would come to hang out with us.
Right.
And then as the guests come in, you start to think like, this is a really great platform to tell all these different stories. So when I tune in to listen to it, that's what I'm looking forward to, is you guys engaging with a different story every week.
Right.
I think that's great to me.
So more guests.
Yes, or even just bringing a topic that tells somebody's story or situation, because I think it's great that everybody here is open-minded and is willing to take on or put themselves in someone else's shoes.
Right.
And that humility and that kind of thing is what I think is the base of the podcast. I don't know if you agree, but to me, listening is, it's really cool.
Dope.
All right.
And for me, I think it's more of a focus on increased production, which then is learning how to monetize, which means we can package this thing up and get it moving. I think that's been my biggest focus is TTM's first show. How do we make this the best produced show so that we can show how other people can create shows and make money off of their shows. And I think in the whole concept of this and changing the narrative and art paying us, it's like, that's the whole fucking purpose of this shit. We're artists, we're creating art. How do we make a living off of the things that we're really talented at doing artistically? And I think too, like, focus, making sure that we're intentional, doing the right things, not just doing stuff just in case of doing stuff. But like you said, now we have a permanent space. It's going to take less time to do the show every week because we have less time spent on taking it up and tearing it down and whatnot. So that'll help you with your scheduling, help us with our focus, and help us with our storytelling and spread the word and make it happen. So I'm fucking excited.
Me too. And thanks all the listeners that have been with us from the start or have just started today.
I think that's the most
very much appreciated.
Important thing we could say is thank you to listeners. As much as it's like my challenge to like make it good or like for us to come and like share our opinions, like the fact that people fucking listen, like keep listening, like we would be nothing without the people who listen to the show. And so that's my big ass thank you. Thank you. Thank you, listeners. Thank you to everyone who's listened once or 50 times and anywhere in between, who's found us, who's told a friend, who's listened in their car, who listens at work, who has a friend who knows that they need to maybe think about things a little bit differently. Here's a cool podcast for you to check out. So Y'all got anything else to add?
No, I don't. I love it.
I got something there.
Do it.
I just don't. I want people to also remember we're not putting ourselves on a pedestal with this. We are not saying we have all the answers. We're not saying that we are the most woke people. We said that last week. You know, we're not. We're just having conversations.
Yeah.
Important conversations that we think are important. And personally, I have an art show coming up.
Nothing wrong with your shameless plug, damn it.
On Thursday, it's just Dow. Dow has a show for their staff and
It's
students.
not just Dow, Dwayne.
Oh, you know, it's not like I had to audition or anything like that.
Man.
Anyway,
Big ass Dow show. It's gonna be
it's a
incredible.
Dow show. Yeah, it's a bunch of the Moments in Culture paintings will be in it.
Ooh.
3 of them. So the Colin Kaepernick Purpose one, I believe, is one of them. I can't remember the other ones at this point, but yeah, you can see them in person if you would like to at Dalhousie Art Center starting on, I believe, Thursday is when it opens.
Thursday, December what? What's
6th.
that? 6th?
Yeah.
Boom. Deal.
December 6th.
Oh shit. 2018. It's coming to an end.
Wasn't it just December 6th, 2017? I do this every year, and time seems to go faster and faster, and I'm really, quite frankly, not comfortable with it.
Does it feel like the first time we recorded sitting together was a year ago?
No, that's crazy.
Not really, no. Yeah. It's weird.
Congrats.
Yeah, 1 year.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
motherfuckers, for making it this far. Because a lot of people don't even get this far.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You
Lauren.
crying for?
No.
Oh, okay.
You can cry if you want.
It's a big moment. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Thank you to all our listeners. Thank you to all our fans and everyone who appreciates us. Thank you, God. And thank you to my mama.
Oh my God.
Say bye to the people and we'll see them next week, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
And thanks, Peter. Wait, no, we can't leave yet. We didn't tell them where they can follow us and shit. TTN Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Changing the Narrative Podcast. Subscribe on Apple
And Spotify.
and Spotify. I can hear Will Strickland in the video. Subscribe on Apple Music.
Yeah.
5 stars only. 5 stars only.
Make sure you rate and review.
Yes. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next week. Peace and love.